All right, welcome back everybody to another new episode of A Whole New World with me, your host, Jacob Gnew. Where we're here to put a spotlight on positive things happening in the community and developing a positive mindset. We have Dr. Dan Fleischman here in the building today. So before we get to him though, it's time for our favorite part of the week, everybody, the dad joke of the week. So, are you ready for it? What is a seal's favorite subject? Art.
There you go. Great opener.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I heard that this Sunday. It was great, and I was tears because I was laughing so hard. It was amazing. So, as I was saying, we do have Dr. Dan Fleischman here from the Ezekiel Center. So
nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being a guest on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, tell us a little bit about you. Like, where are you from? So our audience can kind of get a little bit to know.
Well, originally I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
So I moved out here in the early 90s, then moved back to California, and then moved back here around 2006.
Okay. So you've been going back and forth.
Yeah.
Nice.
You could say that.
I like it. So what made you finally decide to stay in Texas besides we're amazing here in Texas, you know?
Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat that. See, that, and the subject.
Yeah. And I was going to say we have Whataburger, but that was just sold to a Chicago company, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, being from LA, I'm more of an in-and-out kind of guy. If I eat that stuff, but typically
Okay.
I don't. But, yeah.
See, I'm more of a Five Guys guy
Five Guys
myself.
is good.
I like Five Guys.
is good, yeah.
But
yeah.
nothing.
Keto style, right?
Yeah,
There you
keto
go. No
style.
bun, yeah.
Yeah, no. I remember that used to be Atkins
Mhm.
diet. Yeah.
Well, Atkins is a lot heavier on the meat. Keto is a little bit of meat, a lot more veggies.
Oh, shows how much I know. You can tell what I'm not doing. So you are the founder of the Ezekiel Center
Founder
here.
and president of the
Yes.
Ezekiel Center here in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so how'd you get there?
Well, I'm a chiropractor by profession.
Okay.
So actually, that's one of the reasons why I first moved out here to Texas was to go to
Okay.
chiropractic university.
And I actually have a crick right here in my neck, so that's good.
Well, you have to come in so we can get that addressed.
Yeah.
A crick or a cricket? There you go.
I hope it's not a cricket.
I hope it's not a cricket.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Dad jokes.
Yeah. I like it.
So then after graduation, I moved back to California to practice.
Okay.
And then from there, I decided to move back here. A little better opportunities here than there were in California. So I've been here since 2006. Met my current wife here in Dallas. So we just kind of, we already both had roots here. We have family here. So we just stayed, and I formulated the Ezekiel Center. I've been doing that for the past 10 years.
Okay.
And in the past couple of years, it's just recently become a nonprofit, not-for-profit 501c3.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the Ezekiel Center.
We teach a systematic step-by-step process to help people transcend limiting blocks, beliefs, and barriers so they can achieve the outcomes in their lives they've been looking for, but haven't been able to acquire yet.
Okay.
So we all have those things in our life, the repeating patterns, the limiting thoughts, the I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too thin, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm this ethnicity, that.
All the I ams.
All the I ams.
Yeah.
And that typically holds us back.
Mm-hmm.
We let the programming and the download from other people, their influence, determine what our life and our outcome is going to be rather than live our genuine purpose in what makes our heart sing.
Okay.
So we teach people how to transcend that. Well, the reason why we say we teach people how to transcend that, because that's exactly what we do. So we never tell anybody to get over anything. In fact, if anybody has an aspect of themselves that they don't like, the only reason they don't like it is because they haven't owned it yet. They haven't found the love and gratitude in it for it yet. And that's a whole process in itself that we teach through the method.
Okay.
And then through the method, once we teach people how to reconnect with them, those lost or fragmented aspects of themselves, once we create a vacuum in that space, we teach through a meditative process how to fill that vacuum with congruent goals and outcomes that are achievable, that they can then take their lives to the next level.
Okay. So you have to own it first, then once you have that available space, you fill it with the positive kind of, or the possibilities.
The possibility, yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a prayer to God, if you will, a prayer to the Creator, which goes into that portion of the meditative process. So the Ezekiel method is inspired from the book of Ezekiel, from the prophet in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So the book of Ezekiel is laid out basically in 3 separate sections. The first section is sin. So a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to get churchy here, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
What I consider sin in the technique or in the process is anything that you think, say, or do that you knew if you were held accountable to a higher standard, you wouldn't do.
Okay.
And I'm including thoughts in that because eventually thoughts become things. See, once you think something long enough, you act on it, and if you act on it, then it becomes manifested as reality.
Yeah, I like it. Noticed that in a whole bunch of books, and I think I've talked about it before in this episode, where like you keep repeating things over and over, that eventually it's going to become truth. So that whole idea, you have your goal, and when you repeat it over, you're just pumping that into your subconscious, and so you're just kind of
right. And it's the negative self-talk. It's the things that it's the people that keep showing up in different bodies, but it's basically the same person.
Yeah.
And you're like, why does this person keep showing up in my world? I was done with that relationship. One of my favorite things is hearing people say, I've been to the self-help courses, I've been to therapies, I've been to therapists, and so I know I've healed it. And my reaction always to that is, well, if you've healed it, then why does it keep repeating? Why does it keep showing up in your world? See, if you've learned the lesson that God or Creator was trying to share with you, it wouldn't keep showing up in your world.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, if I tell you, don't put your hand on the hot stove, and then you go over and do it.
Watch me.
Well, hopefully once is all it takes,
yeah.
Right? And then you've learned and you moved on. Then we don't have to keep repeating that lesson for you.
Yeah. Hopefully. Sometimes I think I'm a slower learner, but
well, we all are.
By the second time, I got it for sure.
Well, we all are, depending on what aspect of life we're talking about. So it can be relationship, it can be health, it can be finances, it can be spirituality, it can be social, it can be any number of things.
Yeah, I love it because I think what you're hitting on too, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just that we all have our own upbringings, our own stories that have happened and things, and so it could be one factor. For somebody it might be debt, for somebody else it might be a bad relationship, for other people, my dad didn't love me enough, my mom didn't love me enough, or I didn't have any parents, or whatever the case may be, but that everybody has those circumstances, and you have to figure out how that's affecting you and why that's causing it. Am I getting that or no?
Well, sort of. You have to figure out, and we teach you how to do that, is to figure out how it actually benefited you in your life. How did it help take you to the next level? Who did you meet? What groups did you join? What are the things that you have now that you wouldn't have had the situation or event not taking place in your life? And a lot of people's knee-jerk response is, well, without that event, my life would be amazing.
Yeah.
Without that thing, so then they haven't learned the lesson. So then they're doomed to continue to repeat until they find that what the lesson was supposed to teach them. So then they can now grow and transcend beyond it.
Okay.
See, the interesting thing is, somebody's worst nightmare is somebody else's greatest fantasy. Right? And vice versa. Google it. Check it out. You'll find all kinds of weirdness on the internet to prove me right on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust you right now. I'm not gonna Google it, but yeah.
Right. So you say, my dad didn't love me enough, as an example. Okay. Well, somebody else is saying you had a dad.
That's true.
Right. They would have given their eye teeth to have a dad.
So, it's all in the perspective.
It's 100% in the perspective.
So.
And see, the perspective can help transform your world virtually instantly, depending on how you shift and change it. And with the wrong perspective, it'll hold you back and it'll drag you down. And most people are walking around with the wrong perspective. They're walking around with stinking thinking, as they say, right?
Yeah. I like that. But yeah. No, that's so true. So, man, so many different ways I want to go, but first we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back we're going to talk a little bit more about that little thing you touched on called gratitude, I think. So, this is a whole new world, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back everybody to A Whole New World with me, your host, Jacob Gnew. We have Dr. Dan Fleischman here, and he was telling us about the Ezekiel Center and how we can find the lessons in our past to help us overcome the future, in so many words.
Well, overcome our future, but also overcome our present.
Yeah.
Right? See, when you actually don't want to overcome your future, you want to create a new and inspiring future.
Yes. No, I think all of us have that dream where we want to be, we want to be great, we want to be successful sometimes, but even just like, we just want to be better. Maybe not like, I want to be the best person, but you just want to be better, right? And so, I like this because on so many different levels, because we're taking something that we look at right now as like maybe like a thorn in our side or something, and you're talking about finding the gratitude and finding the appreciative, the lesson, like you said.
Absolutely.
So it's transforming our thinking into a way that, like you said, can overcome the present. Oh, wow. Words right now, guys. So, reminds me of a quote, and actually I had this quote written down, but I think it ties in. But gratitude turns what we have into enough. And to me, we're talking about kind of transforming our thinking. That whole idea that, oh, I don't have enough, or like I need more money, I need more. You turn that into like, oh wow, I do have enough. And so, what are your thoughts on that? The gratitude and that quote?
Well, we all have a desire for more.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what makes us human and makes us want to aspire, be, do, and have. We wouldn't have goals and we wouldn't want to achieve outcomes if we didn't want more for our lives. But one of the key things is being grateful for what you have. Because if you're not grateful for what you have, how are you really going to expect to attract more? Or if you attract more, how do you expect it to stay long term?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't. I mean,
you can't. Yeah.
I think of relationships when it comes to this. You don't show gratitude or thankfulness to your partner, or even if it's just something like small, like I really appreciate you putting the dishes away or whatever, like something we don't normally take for granted, it's just that they'll eventually leave, they'll find that gratitude elsewhere, because I think what that does is create that worth for people.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Because people want to be acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
But also if you take gratitude a step further, the parts of you that you've disconnected from and fragmented from, they want to be acknowledged too.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll keep screaming until they come to the forefront and they get acknowledged. And that shows up as different issues and things in your life.
Yeah, and I never thought of it like that. That's mind blowing. Like, I just pictured like all these little me's inside, like, help, let me, like.
Well, that's kind of like what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think of us coming into the physical reality, we think we're a complete vessel, but we come as a shattered vessel. We've got all these pieces that need to be put back together. We call it bringing the lost sheep home.
Yeah.
Right. So now, in our technique, one of the first things that we go to is we want to have gratitude for the emotion that the event sparked. Okay. Here's why.
Okay.
If I tell you, I want you to have gratitude for something tragic that happened in your life.
Okay.
Your first knee-jerk response is going to be, "You're insane. Forget it. I'm not listening to you anymore. You're a nut job. You're an idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about."
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically.
So I was hit by a car and.
Find gratitude for that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Right now it's hard.
It's probably almost impossible.
Yeah.
Okay. Now some people can do it. I've practiced enough where I can do it because I know the steps.
Okay.
However, what we like people to do is find gratitude for the emotional state that led them into a direction, into a positive outlet that got them in a different outcome that they didn't think they would be able to achieve without that emotion. Are you following me here? So if
Yeah.
you are, what emotion would you have for being involved in a car accident, did you say?
Man, I'd be terrified. I'd be like shooken up.
Terrified. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you could be grateful for being terrified? Well, first we'd have to chunk it down to find out, is that really the emotion that you're feeling that's tied to the car accident?
Yeah.
Once we establish that that's indeed the real one, because emotions can hide within each other, right? So
Yeah.
they can be disguised. You think it's one thing, but it's really something else. So maybe it's not being terrified, maybe it's a sense of feeling vulnerable, okay? Because maybe the car accident was out of your control. Okay?
Yeah.
So if vulnerability was it, then you say, okay, well, what did you do to vulnerability? Well, maybe you reached out to people. Maybe you reached out to family and friends. Maybe you got closer to people. Maybe you connected. You realized life is too short, so you reestablished ties to people that you kind of let slip away or drift off. So once you find the chain of events that through that emotion that you've been able to see benefited your life in the end as a result of having that emotion for the car accident, then you go, wow, without that car accident, I wouldn't have experienced this emotion, and that wouldn't have led me down this trail to all these other amazing things.
Yeah.
See, it's a little different way of thinking about it. Right? Now, another thing that I love doing is gratitude drills.
What are those?
Gratitude drills, those are amazing. So we teach this in the course. So basically, in just kind of a quick synopsis of what it is, you start expressing gratitude for everything. Gratitude for this mic that I'm talking in front of. Gratitude for the computer monitor. Gratitude for the table. But then you take it a step beyond that, not just rattling off,
random everything that's just around you.
You feel it. How does it feel to be in this studio, having an opportunity to talk to someone like you, and being able to use technology with this amazing microphone that people all around the world can hear, they can utilize? To stop for a second and take that in, to really have that resonate within you, go, wow. See, people want to know where their abundance is. Well, their abundance is all around them. They have to recognize it. They have to first have gratitude for the seemingly mundane things that they take for granted every day. To be able to walk across the street. Be grateful you're not injured, because I've been injured and it stinks, not being able to walk well.
Oh yeah, no, that's
right?
not easy.
To have the different aspects, to be able to look at a sunny day or even a rainy day and say, wow, I don't have to water my lawn, or my foundation doesn't have to, I don't have to waste water. Right, the lakes are filled up, we've got plenty of water. So
plenty of good fishing.
Plenty of good fishing, if you're, absolutely. So and even with the fishing, what do you fish with?
A fishing pole or a net. It depends on where you are.
Have you been grateful for those tools? Because you wouldn't be able to go fishing without those.
Me personally, no.
How different would your life be if you expressed gratitude for the simple things and felt it?
It's pretty crazy. You're sitting here talking about being in here and just the whole magnitude of wow, yeah, we're broadcasting to hundreds of people right now, and before, what would that have been? Let's letter this down and send it through the Pony Express. It wouldn't have worked.
No, Well, and
the enormity of it, I think, is crazy.
And even 10 years ago, something like this wasn't available to someone like you and I. We'd have to go to a major network to do this.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would have been a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
So.
Just to get in the door is a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah, security's pretty lax here.
Yeah, you pretty much just let me in. I'm very grateful for that, by the way.
You're welcome. I'm grateful for you showing up. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
So, the people go through this. They do the gratitude drills. They start expressing. They feel the gratitude, what is it? Can you, from the outsider, do you start to see the change within them?
Yeah, you see the change within yourself, and you see the change reflected in your outside world.
Okay.
See, when you start focusing on the things that you have rather than the things that you don't have, you're given more as a consequence because you're grateful for what you already have. Now, you shouldn't do gratitude drills just to get more stuff. It doesn't work that way, right?
No.
But it's like when you give a child a toy. You know, if you give one child a toy and they throw it on the ground and they're angry and they're like, you know, why would you give this stupid thing to me? You know, what were you thinking? This is ridiculous. I don't like it. What do you typically want to do with that child?
Take the toy away and,
Exactly.
discipline.
Yeah, because you want to see some kind of repercussions with that
Yeah.
child, right? For
Mhm.
poor and inappropriate behavior. What about a child that takes the toy and goes, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. You're so thoughtful and kind of you for, to think of me this way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I'm going to play with this all the time. I'm really excited. You know what? I just want to play with it right now. And what do you want to do with a child like that?
Yeah. I mean, give him more stuff. It's like, I'd just be floored that the child now said that,
Exactly. So Creator, since we're children of God, Creator thinks of us the same way.
Mhm.
So when we act bratty, when we act in such a way that we don't appreciate, when we complain, when we gripe,
Yeah.
we get more stuff to gripe about. Have you heard the famous expression that says, hey, if you're going to gripe, I'll give you something to gripe about.
Yeah.
You want to complain, I'll give you something to complain about, right?
Yeah.
The opposite is true. When you start looking for all the blessings in your life and you start really feeling it and doing the gratitude drill, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 times a day minimum.
That
and
consistency.
The consistency and at red lights, doing it while you're on the commode, grateful for toilet paper, right? Grateful you have plumbing and then you
Thankful
can
for
flush
Charmin.
it. Thankful for Charmin. I mean, really, if you run out of gratitude, then you're not looking hard enough because there's endless amounts of gratitude that's around.
No, I agree 100%. And this is something that I'm currently trying to change in my life as well. And so my fiance and I are on this journey together. And I've already noticed in the it started recently, a couple days ago, like that it's starting to impact the way I look and how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, so I'm excited to see how things go the longer I do it.
Absolutely.
So
you change your vibration, the world around you changes.
Yeah, for sure. And oftentimes it's not what's wrong with the world, it's what's wrong with me.
Right. Because what's wrong with us we see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the world sees in us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and on that note, we're going to take another break. So we will be right back, y'all. And when we come back, we will continue talking about the attitude of gratitude. So this is Jacob Gnew with A Whole New World, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to A Whole New World with me, your host, Jacob Gnew. We're here to put a spotlight on positive things happening in the community and developing that positive mindset. So here today we're talking about the attitude of gratitude with Dr. Dan Fleischman of the Ezekiel Center here. And before the break, you had said a lot of very good things about gratitude and just finding gratitude in everything that we do. But then you said about doing it like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just developing that consistency. And I think that gratitude is definitely not just an emotion, but a skill.
It is.
It's something that we have to practice because I think, I don't know if it's social media or what, but I think a lot of us are just in that habit of thinking negatively. Oh, I want more, I want this. And like you said, when you're like, well, this is nice, but you don't tend to, you don't have that gratitude for what you already have.
Right.
So, any other suggestions for people looking to start using gratitude more in their life?
Yeah, start simply. I mean, start with your everyday surroundings. Even go outside for a walk. Like I mentioned before, being grateful for the sunshine or clouds or rain or the trees.
Yeah.
The fact that you can walk, the fact that you can see, the fact that you can experience things. Start to feel these things. Start look at your account. I don't care if you've got 50 cents in your account. You have an account.
Yeah.
There are people that are homeless right now that don't.
You have 50 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents. That's somewhere to start, right?
Yeah.
So there are people that are way worse off than you are.
Yes. No, I love that, and I think honestly, it kind of sounds silly at first. Like, you want me to give thanks for the sunshine. I mean, let me just hug this tree. I mean, no, but
it goes more than just tree hugging.
Yeah. Thanks for the oxygen. No.
Well, that's part of it too, right?
You know, like, but I mean, I think, but it's the whole idea that you're looking for more of the positive and the things to give thanks for that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think that's a skill that all of us, it's underutilized,
mm-hmm.
and that more of us should try and develop. So what is, how have you seen gratitude like change people's lives? Like, any examples come to mind? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the course that we teach, I mean, it transforms their lives. I mean, they are coming in with a negative attitude, and they are really down on themselves and their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen finances turn around. We've seen relationships be saved. We've seen health improve. We've seen all kinds of miracles and blessings happen as a result, which goes much further into the gratitude.
Yeah.
But the gratitude is the essential key component. If you really want to change your life, that's one of the starting places to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because until you have that gratitude, see, it's so easy for the majority of people to go into the dark places because it's familiar.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, we get support there.
Yeah.
Right? You get support from your family, your friends, your peers, your coworkers, your boss. They'll join you in the negative pit, of darkness all day long, because it's social. People can talk about it. People like the drama. I mean, that's why we have so many really horrible shows on TV right now, that people just feed off of that like there's no tomorrow. But does it serve their life in any fashion?
No, it's just feeding that negative bear. I just think of it as like, because bears are ferocious and like,
mm-hmm.
rah. I'm not talking like a cute koala bear. No, I'm talking like a grizzly bear. Like, like this. That's probably a terrible analogy, but it works in my mind. It worked.
If it's for the dad joke,
yeah.
It works.
So, but I just kind of think of it more. It is which side are you trying to feed more, the negative side or the positive side? And I think, like you said, it's easier for us to be negative because there's more negative things incoming into our lives.
Our society is really conditioned for that. Look at the media. Look at the news.
Yeah.
The news.
Oh, I don't watch the news.
Right. Well, the news is not founded on making you feel good.
No.
It's founded on just the opposite. Especially the news. It's founded on instilling fear. It's founded on implanting lack.
Yeah.
It's founded on all kinds of negative emotional states that you feel like you have to watch that TV just to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, you like the negative drama, which then feeds into a negative reality in your life, and you wonder why your life doesn't work, because you're feeding your brain with all this stuff.
Negativity.
See, here's the thing: your brain's a master computer,
mm-hmm.
right? It's more advanced than any computer system on the planet to this day.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't care what you put into it. It doesn't care if you put in positive or negative. Whatever data you put in, it will spit out.
No, I agree 100% with that, because
it has no judgment. It has no problem giving you what you ask. If you say, either consciously or unconsciously, you want a negative life, it will give you a negative life. If you want a positive, happy life with all amazing blessings, you can get that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's all what you put in the computer.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I've, one of my goals this year is to get healthier, and so I'm kind of starting to watch more I know we joked about keto and the Atkins. I'm just trying to eat less fast food, just one small step at a time,
Good.
But like it really makes a difference in like how I've noticed I've been feeling, and like I've been working out too, and so like
mm-hmm.
I just wake up and I feel better. And so I think when you're feeding your mind, it's like feeding your body, like your food intake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what you're reading.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I agree 100% with everything that you're saying on this. Then, do you suggest people like cut out that stuff, or like how? I mean, because some people are like, I have to watch this show, you know?
Well, I guess the reason, the thing that you need to first discover, and we can help you explore this through the method, is why do you feel the need to watch the show in the first place? What's the underlying emotion that's driving you to fulfill some kind of a need or void within you that you feel can be met by watching the negative outlets? And that even includes food, right? So it includes all areas of life. So we don't do anything in life without an emotion instructing us to do it. We're completely 100% emotion driven. And if you had to think and ask yourself if that really applied to you, you felt a certain way about that statement, and you had to do an internal process to determine whether that statement was true for you or not, and then you had to feel a certain way about it, and then you act on it based on a feeling.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what the data is. See, the data could be in front of you and all the numbers could add up and you say, okay, this looks like an amazing opportunity or whatever, but if something in your gut doesn't feel right, you're probably not going to do it. Or if you do it and you go against what your internal compass is telling you, you'll probably fail massively.
Yeah.
We've all experienced that.
Yes, yeah. I've experienced this several times, but
so we're emotionally driven creatures, but our society tells us we're not allowed to be that way. We're not allowed to experience our full range of emotions in a God-given healthy way, and that includes the lower vibrational emotions that some people coin as negative. You're not allowed to be angry, right? It's a bad thing to be angry. You're not allowed to be sad. So they've got all these pharmaceuticals to help you out of that, right? But what does that do is that creates more discord and disharmony within us. So what we need to really be doing is learning how to manage and mitigate these emotions in the positive spectrum to help propel our life forward in the direction that will carry us into an inspiring future.
Yeah.
So where we go negative and dark is people hold on to these emotions and they stay there too long and they use them in the wrong fashion, which takes them in the wrong direction in life. That's why their lives don't work.
No, I get it. I like it. And you had said this earlier, but I want to say again is that one thing that I like about what you're saying is it's okay to feel the way you are, and but you're like accepting it, but then you're digging into like, why am I like that, or why am I reacting this way, and looking into the future, looking back at what happened after, what happened because of this.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was terrible, but guess what? You are where you are now because of things that happened along the way, like this, and this.
We all have areas in life that we have to grow from and we have to learn from and we experience pain from. None of us are immune to that. The question is, what do you do with that? Do you crawl under the covers and pull the blankets over your head and say, woe is me, or do you find the gift and the blessings and the gratitude and how it actually moves your life forward?
Yeah. I mean, it depends if I have a good book and a flashlight or go under the covers, but no, I mean, I think either one, it requires you to make a decision.
It does.
And sometimes that decision is scarier than you'd like, but you make that decision, you just go full force into it, sometimes. So. Well,
and then also making a decision also requires a skill set that most people are told they're not allowed to have anymore, and that's judgments, that's likes, dislikes. Those are useful emotional tools that you use to take your life into different directions. If we're not allowed to label, if we're not allowed to discern, if we're not allowed to place judgments on things in a healthy way, how are we supposed to do things and move our life in a positive direction? We can't.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, I have something in my eye. My bad, guys. No, I agree wholeheartedly, and that's where again, like, you need that equipment almost, or like sometimes you need that guidance to like point to yourself, like, hey, especially you've been thinking those negative thoughts, that maybe you need somebody like, hey, that's really not the best choice, or sometimes.
Or maybe manage them better, because maybe a negative thought is appropriate for the situation. See, a negative thought is only negative in basically how long, the intent behind the emotion, and how long you stay in that emotional state. Okay, so
Yeah.
those are the main reasons how an emotion turns negative is by being in it too long. See, if someone is attacking someone I love, God forbid, right?
Yeah.
The emotion of anger is going to be very useful for me to muster up the internal energy and courage to be able to defend off an attacker.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm told by society and I've drugged or done something to make anger go away, now I'm left vulnerable. That's a handicap. But if someone walks through their entire life being angry, that's not a healthy expression of that.
No, you need to let go of that. It's a little bit, find another emotion to where.
Yeah, but you can only let it go, and
Yeah.
and it's not really letting it go. It's setting it down to pick up another tool, because you need to find out, why are you angry? What's really behind that? Rather than just shoving it in a corner saying I shouldn't feel that way, it's bad, la 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 la, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
work, because the undercurrent of
It's
that
still
is
there.
that it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to utilize all these different emotional tools in their proper span and space. So even happiness, okay? So people can be happy for too long, because then the pendulum swings the other way. See, we're not wired to maintain an emotional state for an exceedingly long period of time. Now, do I want people to be happy? Absolutely, 100%. But when it's appropriate to be sad, be sad. When it's appropriate to be upset, be upset. When it's appropriate to be frustrated, be frustrated. When it's appropriate to be in joy, be in joy. The only emotion that should be present 100% is love. So you can mix and match emotions.
Yeah.
Right? So you can be angry or not really like someone, but you still love them.
So it's kind of like that. The whole all the other emotions, love's kind of there throughout all of that.
That's the one. That's the one
whole
emotion that can be there through all of it.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that. So man, I know me personally, I feel like I've grown so much just in this conversation, just listening to you, and I'm excited for my thoughts in the future. So, but we're about to wrap up. So I want to let everybody know first, if you're sitting out there and listening and you're like, I want to get in touch with Dr. Dan Fleischman, how's the best way to get a hold of you?
Come to our website, ezekielcenter.org, EZEKIEL center.org.
Yes.
We've got classes, we've got workshops, we've got all kinds of events going on almost all the time. I do private sessions for people who don't necessarily want to do this in a class setting. I've got a book that's getting ready to come out within the next couple months, which outlines the Ezekiel method, which is part of what we've been talking about today.
Yeah. No, I love it. And is there a fee to go to the classes?
There is.
Okay.
For the classes, they're 20. So
20.
it's
Not bad.
Yeah. It's stupid cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. For what you get, and for the life changing things that happen with people, we're way undercharging.
Yeah. No, I love it, and thank you for offering this service and helping to transform people's thinking.
Absolutely.
And so,
thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate it. So, thank you all for listening to our talk about the attitude of gratitude. I like it because it rhymes. So, all you listeners out there, I do have a favor to ask of everybody. We are trying to spread the word of a whole new world and share the positive vibes. So if you are listening out there, make sure that you've clicked that little follow button, and please share with your friends, family, anybody that you think would enjoy this or benefit from this. And so, we appreciate all your help, and thank you guys for tuning in. And this is Jacob Gnew with A Whole New World. And as always, if you learn to do one thing, learn how to make a difference. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a great